Why do people develop a romance-centered mind, a friendship-centered mind, or become consumed by relationships, and lose their sense of self? When this video talks about a romance-centered mind, it doesn't mean a normal crush. What it means is this: in reality, the truth is that a person is simply someone in my life, not the center of my world, and our physical and psychological distance is vast. Yet, at the very moment I am supposed to face the truth, keep my life moving, and choose myself, I instantly distort my perception. I place them at the center of my universe, causing myself, my goals, and my real life to disappear. In other words, I stop my own progress and refuse to face reality. Here, living does not simply mean survival. It means living as an independent being, acting, choosing, pursuing my own life, and moving toward my future. For example, say I go out to make a friend or simply to borrow a tool. This is a simple, practical interaction. I get the job done and leave. I need this tool to accomplish my own tasks. It is purely for my own benefit and to keep my life moving forward. It should only take a minute or two, and I have other things to do in my life. I look at the other person and think to myself, they look approachable, evaluating them merely as a good person to borrow a tool from. I approach them to meet my own needs and continue with my life. But as I try to live my own life, I am suddenly interrupted. I feel suppressed and submerged, growing smaller and blurrier. Suddenly, I start thinking the other person is so attractive. My eyes become filled with them. In my imagination, they grow taller, larger, and clearer, completely filling my world. Meanwhile, I shrink, blur, cease to exist, and stop acting. I use all of this to interrupt my efforts to live my own life. What is the root cause? It is because in my past environment, I was not allowed to choose myself. I was not allowed to exist as an independent being whose life could just keep moving forward. Normally, if I am keeping my life moving, I have my own things to do, I grab what I need and leave. I make a living. But instead, I instantly freeze. I put the outside world on a pedestal while belittling myself. As a result, not only do I fail to make a living, but I also regress. I fail to carry out my original plans to borrow the tool and get things done. My body and mind are hijacked by a single thought: I don't deserve to live my own life. It's just like when we were younger, when we tried to live our own lives and ask for basic life resources. Not only were we denied, but we were also violated, humiliated, bullied, and abused. Our bodies and minds were diminished. From then on, every time we attempt to choose ourselves, we trigger this self-belittling mechanism and freeze. As infants and children, we weren't allowed to show resentment, rejection, or disgust, which are the boundaries needed to move toward a healthy environment where we can breathe and live our own lives. Consequently, we never got used to living our own lives. So, why do we develop a romance-centered mind? Because we are not used to living our own lives. When I try to live my own life, like borrowing a tool to improve my life, and I am about to take action, the trigger pulls. To stop me from moving forward, the violation begins. Instantly, my life vanishes. I stop what I'm doing, I don't borrow the tool, and I don't walk away in repulsion. Yet, I still go and spend a fortune giving money to the extorting merchant. I target this item, I like it, I am satisfied and happy, and I want to get it. But some people, out of envy and jealousy, suppress me and demand an exorbitant price to stop me from choosing myself. If I could just follow my body's repulsion, walk away, and push them out of my boundaries to refuse their violation, I could keep breathing and live my own life. But if I am not used to living my own life, I don't do what my body wants. Instead of distancing myself from the harm, I draw closer, handing my money over to the very people and environments that violate me. Because living my own life meant being violated in the past, this romance-centered mind is merely a weapon used to suppress my ongoing life. The moment I stand up, I am beaten down. A romance-centered mind is just one of many tactics. Rumination, putting others on a pedestal, self-deprecation, refusing to walk away, failing to push people out, and failing to fight back, all of these serve the same purpose, to stop me from choosing myself. Whatever actions you take, your brain will invent a story to justify them. It distorts reality, fabricates lies, and slanders you to explain why you aren't moving forward. It is not that you cannot live your own life, it is that you learn to stop yourself from living it. When you are prevented from choosing yourself in childhood, you are forced to remain that way even when you grow up. Environment matters immensely. It takes time to recover your survival instincts and live your own life. I am not living my own life because I am driven by a romance-centered mind, because I am ruminating, because I need to analyze this, because I need to interrupt this. These are just cognitive distortions your brain fabricates to avoid cognitive dissonance and explain why you have stopped your own life. Why didn't I keep living my own life, borrow the tool, make good friends, or try new things? Because my brain tries to convince me that pausing my life to analyze is somehow the right thing to do. If I were actually choosing myself, I would already be in the middle of it. How could I fall, freeze, or remain stuck in self-destructive rumination? The romance-centered mind and rumination are used to stop me from living my own life. It is exactly like how people in the past harassed, interrupted, belittled, and threatened me, all while claiming it was for my own good, when in reality, they drew close only to destroy me and stop me from choosing myself. They were failures, peering into my life, preaching to me, someone who was outstanding and admired, just to tear me down, steal from me, and cheat me so I couldn't progress. They distorted reality to stop me from living my own life back then, and now, I distort reality to recreate their violations. If I choose to live my own life, I will not self-destruct. I will not use a romance-centered mind to interrupt my ongoing life. If I were truly choosing myself, I would have borrowed that tool and left long ago. My mind would be filled with my own life and my own goals. I am a living being, a person with agency. I move forward for myself, rather than dying for the outside world or being a tool for others to drain dry. When I stop living my own life, I focus on the outside world instead of my own life and my own future. I tell myself, that person out there is too perfect, and use that to interrupt my life, my opinions, and my actions. A romance-centered mind and rumination are not the reasons you stop your life, they are just the stories your brain invents to cover for why you stopped living your own life. A healthy life is built on equality, boundaries, and respect. It is free from violation, and free from the creation of high-status and low-status dynamics. Therefore, in any relationship, whether with the same or opposite sex, only when I choose myself can the outcome be equal, bounded, and respectful, free from boundary violations and the submissive romance-centered mind that accepts them. How do we heal? We heal by choosing to live our own lives. I must stop focusing on the outside world. The moment I focus outward, my life halts. To live my own life, I must focus on my own life, my goals, and my actual reality. I will not sacrifice my time, my judgment, my property, my boundaries, myself, or my life for the outside world. Listen to your body. What your body does tells you exactly what is happening around you. Your body is constantly calculating, seeking benefit, and avoiding harm. Even through the pages of a book, your body's instinct is to look at good people who make you feel like you can breathe, which means people who allow you to choose yourself. Listening to your body means focusing on yourself. What your body drives you to do is your true survival instinct, allowing you to breathe and keep going. When I choose to live my own life, I stand firm in my truth, my reality, my actions, my views, my judgment, my schedule, my interests, and my sense of rightness. I will only choose to live my own life in environments, with people, and through actions that allow me to breathe. A living being has spirit and energy. Maturity, strength, and strong boundaries come from choosing yourself, focusing on your own life, your goals, and what you want. Align with your survival instinct as a living being. Instinctively choose to live your own life in this very moment and look forward to the future. When I choose myself, I reclaim my subjectivity and agency. I choose what I do and what I need. I control my body, my time, and my everything. To unleash your survival instinct is to think about your current reality and your future. It is to refuse to let the past suppress, submerge, and destroy your actions to live your own life. Falling into a romance-centered mind or failing to walk away from things that disgust you is just repeating past traumas, allowing yourself to be violated, interrupted, and stopped from living your own life. It destroys your self-concept, your time, your money, your career plans, and your future. To choose myself means, I decide what I do, what I want, what I think, what I refuse to think about, and who or what I dislike. To live my own life means, I decide my actions, my attitude, and my opinions rather than being suppressed and submerged. For example, I can say, I am doing okay right now, I am unhappy right now, I look forward to the future, I want a good future, I resent and hate the past, I think this is great, wow, that looks nice. I live my own life instead of being manipulated, controlled, and paralyzed. I am the one judging my own feelings, not the one being submerged. When I feel, when I judge for myself, my true self emerges, and my boundaries are established. As long as I can still make my own judgment, as long as I can still think, I feel they are decent or I feel they aren't right for me, I remain the subject. I am not a person defined by the world, I am the person who decides my own life. My actions dictate my thoughts. When I choose to live my own life and thrive, I will naturally feel confident, in control, comfortable, and able to breathe. I will naturally have the mindset of someone who is keeping their life moving. Healing is the restoration of my will to choose myself. I can borrow something without needing to build a relationship. I can appreciate someone, but keep it strictly as appreciation. I can draw close to someone, without letting my own life disappear. More on this in upcoming videos, follow to catch them.